Hey guys, Tails here, back in my Hopkin avatar. They fixed Fizzbones, and eventually my videos that I made will catch up with this video and you'll get the classic Tails back. I am currently recording in a world called Cafe. Definitely a world for like larger avatars, but hey, I kind of got tired of dodging around different cafe worlds. I was feeling a cafe today, and just kind of like landed here. It's nice, not laggy. Bigger avatars. You got like the fancy waterfall in the background. That's how you know it's a high-class establishment. There's like, you know, it's a very small place. We have giant cake. I mean, what could be better? Like, maybe being tiny in this cafe is just the better option, because if you're big, you just have a smaller piece of cake. Let's be real. And like the bushes. Like, so that just look like plants to big people. Like, come on now. There's giant cookies here too, but I'm too lazy to get my fat ass up and walk over there and get one. So feel free to go have one of those. There's some bananas up there too. So you know, go all out. Cafe though, definitely good. You can turn off colliders and stuff, which is nice. You know, help with the lag a little bit. There's not a lot of lag here actually, which is good. There's a famous art on the wall, the Mona Lisa, a weird magic stick thing, and then there's a shocked man. You guys can't see it, but it's there. Come to the world and see it for yourself is all I can really say. This video kind of bounces off the subject where I was talking about British TV shows I'd watch as a kid. Because I'm like I'm stood there cooking dinner tonight and I'm like, you know, British television is weird, okay? Like, I grew up in England, born and raised. I've only recently come over to America. And I kind of just like want to talk about like British programming and the stuff that we consume or consumed. Now, for fairness, I'm going to be talking about those British TV shows that aired in the BT era, because that's when I haven't been to England since before then, so I can only talk about the shows that I caught on television when I was on vacation there, or that I watched while I was living there. And for those of you who aren't in the know, BT stands for Before Trump, also known as Simpler Times 2019, before, you know, flights shut down and traveling just became not fun. It was never fun, but it became less fun, and I wasn't all that thrilled about it, and I'm still not. Maybe one day I'll be bothered enough to go visit the old England again and check out the UK, but for now it's kind of just a hassle, you know? It takes like 9 hours to get there, and then like 4 hours to drive to where we stay, and actually driving to the airport from here, from in the Americas, takes like an hour and a half. Like, that's a lot of traveling. That's like 24 hours of traveling. Then you get the jet lag, and then you finally get over the jet lag, and then you have like a week, and then you gotta come back, and then that's like another day. It's a whole thing. It's fun though. Fish and chips are worth going back for. Fish and chips worth it. Definitely. Chocolate snacks, of course, like dairy milk. Your heroes, isn't it, mate? You gotta have your heroes, and your dairy milk, and your celebrations, and your roses. Good stuff, innit? Actually, no, that's more like roses and Quality Street. They're the stuff you bust out during Christmas. They're not a during the year food, okay? Chocolate, whatever. That's a Christmas chocolate, okay, people? Celebrations and heroes are fine throughout the year, but, you know, only heathens eat Quality Street and roses outside the holidays. Just so you know, in case you've been doing it wrong. Anyway, British TV shows. So I'm standing there cooking my dinner. I'm like cooking tuna pasta, and I just suddenly got thinking about the Gogglebox. Now, the Gogglebox is a British TV show about British people watching TV. So literally, it's a show that people. It was really big, and it was good, and it was funny, and I enjoyed it. But just like looking back, I was literally sitting and watching a show about people sitting and watching a show. Like, these people would literally sit around, watch British television for a week, and then at the end of the week, they would just air it, and it would be these people like reacting to TV shows they'd watch, popular TV shows usually they'd watch throughout the week. And it was funny and it was interesting, but when you really think about it, it's like, wow, TV doesn't even really have to try to entertain us anymore, does it? It's literally some guy like sitting in front of their TV like drooling and being like, you know, and I think there was this family that had like 4 giant dogs that would just appear, and every so often they'd get yelled at for eating the biscuits on the table, which was kind of funny. Like that kind of stuff. It was silly, and British TV is just, it's a place. There was also something else I wanted to cover too. It was like, you know, Simon Cowell, how everybody hated him because British television, he was American Idol. He was Pop Idol. He was one of the judges on that first. And, like, the British people loved him. It was basically these people going on stage singing their heart out, and then Simon Cowell would say some mean stuff, and we would just eat it up. And we would think it was normal. And then, like, Simon Cowell goes to America, and they start airing the show in America. America's just like, oh my god, this guy's so mean. Like, what is wrong? Like, why? And we're just like, nah, Simon Cowell's awesome. And then, like, later on, you guys, like, stole him anyway, and you kind of enjoyed it took you guys, America, a while to catch up with, like, enjoying abuse like the British people do. Like, America just likes to take things in general from England, because around the time of Simon Cowell, there was also Gordon Ramsay, you know, like Hell's Kitchen, screaming at people in the kitchen, and he first started doing that in England, and then you guys just kind of, like, took him, and now he has that big fancy restaurant, like Idiot Sandwich. It's just, like, it was literally a TV show about a man yelling at a bunch of, like, cooks who are like trying to live their dream, trying to work in an already stressful environment. Like, I work customer service, I know, kitchen sucks, and then on top of that you got like filming, and you got this really angry scary man yelling at you, telling you you're an idiot sandwich and that the chicken is raw and you can't serve that. It's like, how are you supposed to work? Like, I guess he was obviously for the television, but in general, the kitchen's stressful and you're running around, but these people are trying to not only learn the kitchen and how stuff works, they're having a crazy man yell at him. And also, as someone who has worked in a kitchen and had a crazy boss yelling at me, I can confirm that it sucks, it's not a fun time, and it's not a very, like, productive work environment in general. But of course, you know, people are going to go see the TV show and then go eat there anyway, and he's still going to make money regardless. But, you know, I would like to think that he's not screaming up. Can you imagine going to Gordon Ramsay's restaurant and then being angry because you don't hear, like, screaming coming from the kitchen? Like, Gordon Ramsay's, like, always there just screaming at poor innocent people who are just trying to live out their dream of becoming a chef. Which is, in general, I think the English, or it may be America too, anywhere, just kind of enjoy seeing other people miserable because they feel better about themselves. There was also a show on that was kind of popular around the time of Gogglebox. I can't remember what it was called, but it was like basically a dating show. They got these like the most lonely single people ever, kind of like setting them up on a date, and we the people are just sitting there like wanting to see them get together. But you know, this like relationship's never gonna last, and they have that little thing at the end where it's like, yeah, they were together and they decided to go on another date, and then like later on it's just like, yeah, they were together for like a week and then they moved on. Some of them do end up getting like together and stuff, which is cute, which is kind of, you know, the people that you're really watching for. When you think about it, we're just kind of sat there watching the most awkward dates and the cringe, and then just some of them like actually, you know, they're there seriously, they go to the bathroom, they're crying, and then sometimes the other date doesn't even show up, and it's just like, oh god, like, oh no. And it's just like that is a peak television. I think that was like kind of a popular show, but I know it was on around the same time as Gogglebox, and we were a victim for watching that show. watching the suffering of other people and laughing from our couches, you know, kind of thing. Oh god, what other wild like British TV shows have we had over the years? Let me think for a second. Oh, the Easyjet. Come fly with me. Let's fly away. Literally a show like about at an airport and like Easyjet, you know, like are they still a thing, like budget airlines? Anyway, so these people are coming off like long ass flights. They're tired, they're cranky, and they're going through security. Someone's pointing a camera in their face. They're already angry, and of course, you know, the camera's just making it worse. It's basically the show of Karens too. Like, these people are showing up late and then getting angry because they missed their flight, and they're like, well, I'm like 10 minutes late. I still have time. And they're like, ma'am, the gate closed like an hour ago. We kind of need to load the plane and get you through security. There's not enough time. And they're like, but my clock said the plane leaves in like 10 minutes. Like, I'm sorry, you're dumb. Please leave. Like, that would be my response. And I would only be working there for like half a day. Because, my God, I could not put up with that. Like, it's simple. You get a flight. You show up like 2-3 hours early because there's other people on that flight, and they shouldn't have to sit around, Karen, whilst they load your bags onto the plane, okay? If you're late, that's a you problem. Catch a later flight. Doesn't sound like a me problem. Go sleep at a hotel. I don't care. Sleep on the floor outside. But GTFO, you missed your flight. Sucks for you. Whatever. And it's one of those shows where we would just get a kick out of watching other people get angry and miserable. And it's just like, what are we consuming in England right now? I say we, but I'm not really over there. But I did used to watch all these shows. I'm confirming that. I'm just as guilty for consuming this media because these are the shows that I was watching in England. Again, confirming this. I'm not just calling out British people. I'm calling out myself. I am the one who enjoys watching other people's suffering as they just try to go on vacation and then the airline tells them no. Also, you know, like people getting angry when there's like delays, and people like getting angry when they get caught bringing like cigarettes don't get taxed overseas, and you're only allowed to buy so many and bring so many back. Same with like alcohol. And then these people are all getting angry when they get caught coming back with like 4 suitcases full of cigarettes and having them confiscated or being, you know, charged for taxes, or, you know, sometimes they get charged. I think sometimes they charge them with a fine. Yeah, they give them a fine, and then they take all the cigarettes, and they get angry because they pay the fine, and then they get all the cigarettes taken away. It's like, dude, you broke the law. You're not just gonna like pay them off. That's not how this works. You can't just be like, so I got all this like white powder. Can I just give you this hush money real quick, and then you let me take it with? It's fine. It's sherbet. It's good. It's all good. All good. Just tell them it's sherbet. Yay, thanks, mate. Like, you know. Then the Australian version of Easyjet is like even crazier because you guys can't even go in with like a speck of dirt on your shoe. You got like super nannies standing in the terminals ready to hose you down as you walk in. Like, Australia does not want any kind of contaminants getting in. Like, you have a piece of dirt on your shoe, you may as well just like get out, because Sarah, you're not getting in the country today. Sorry, you need to turn around and go back home. Take your ass back on that like 14-hour flight, because you're not getting in here. How dare you show up with dirt on your shoe? How dare we offend? Yeah, I know why you all have that, like, you want to preserve and not bring in like contaminant stuff. I get it, but it's just kind of funny to me that you guys will be like, if anyone has dirt on their shoes, they're just like, oh, we take only the cleanest of boots here in Australia, mate. You ain't got them clean shoes on, you may as well just get out now. Was that an offensive accent at all? Can I go put it into the shrimp on the barbie real quick? Oh, God. Australia is coming for me. Australia's coming for me, mate. They're coming for me tail, innit? I look like a mini kangaroo, and then I'm here talking in an Australian accent. If it would be your fancy man on a YouTube video, I'm sure it's going to go down very well with the Aussies, isn't it, mate? How can I make it worse? Boomerang. There we go. Alright, I think I might have pushed it too far now, and there's a bit bonds in it. Oh god. I'm sorry, I'll stop. Jesus. Okay, back to British things and not doing terrible accents. I can do a Jamaican accent too if you want one, but I don't think we're going to go there. I'm just having fun now. Anyway, back on track, back on subject. What was I talking about? I was talking about the Easyjet, people crossing the border without paperwork, not necessarily legally, between France and England, and they just kind of bounce back and forth. That was a show called Border Patrol, I think. Not to be confused with Paw Patrol. Completely different show. There were dogs, but they couldn't talk, okay? They were mostly just smelling for people and drugs. So, can you imagine the Paw Patrol? Like, I'm not, like, familiar with it, but niece and nephew were, like, kind of obsessed with that show, so I had, like, a vague idea of what Paw Patrol is. Can you imagine an episode of Paw Patrol where they introduced a new pup, and it's sniffing for drugs, and it's just, like, constantly, like, whacked out, but not whacked out to the point where, like, it's noticeable for, like, the kids. It just kind of slips under the radar. I didn't know what his name would be. Snowy. God. Snowy, the, like, 15th puppy on the Paw Patrol is here to save, what was it, Miracle Bay or something from, snow. There's a lot of snow forecast. It's being brought across the bay from the other side of the continent they're on, Crack Time Bay. You know. Oh no. Okay. I should just keep things moving along. What other wild British TV shows have we watched over the years that you could never air now, like Blackadder, Faulty Towers? I think there was another one. Oh, Life of Brian. I've always thought about making a video talking about that, but I don't think it would really fly in today's video economy, so to speak. Can't really talk about those. So, iconic British TV shows though. Blackadder, the worst night in the land. Blackadder. And then I don't actually remember the rest of the song. I remember there was a line about him having something about a mustache. Anyway, moving on. So got to include like the police show, dramas. I'm sure there's still one. It was basically we had these TV shows that were like 5 or 6 of them airing at the same time, but it was basically, you know, a show that followed British police around, and it would just be like drunk British people yelling at each other, beating each other up for like 20 minutes. Occasionally there would be an over dramatized car chase, maybe an accident. It's like one of those things where you're watching it because you're curious if there's going to be like an accident or something big, but you kind of already know that if there was a big accident or something, they wouldn't exactly show it on the show, but you're still watching. It was just kind of amusing to watch like really drunk British people like screaming at each other and getting fist fights on the street over like, usually over something stupid, like, you know, just like bigger man street fight, gang beat 'em ups, I guess. Occasionally they'd have to send out a dog to chase down a criminal or something, and you know, they'd be looking around for like 20 minutes for that. We all know like the bar fights and the drunk people attempting to punch each other were probably the highlights of that show. It was one of those, that show kind of did its job, because as a kid I would watch that kind of show, and I would just watch these like air quote like party, going out to bars and drinking, and I'd be like, you know, what is the appeal here? Please tell me. These seem like people who are really having a good time, and I really want to go hang out with them. They look like they're going places. Like, it straight up put me off ever wanting to drink or go to a bar. So, like, thank you, I guess. Like, I get it. Some people like to party and drink or whatever, but just, like, watching those shows were just, like, wow. I could, like, drink myself stupid and party every night and spend a bunch of money and then just, like, throw it all up in the morning and maybe end up in prison because I drank too much. Like, that was my view of, like, partying, and it completely it distorted my view ever since of ever wanting to do it. Plus, you know, like, socializing with people, ain't nobody got time for that. And kind of glad I avoided that scene. Another plus is I didn't want to learn to drive because you know, we'd have those car accidents things on the commercials where, oh god, this one sticks in my brain of not wearing a seatbelt, where it's like a family in a car and the kids are in the back, and then it straight shows them getting an accident and the kid flies forward and like kills the mom. Like, this was a commercial, okay? Commercial. Reminder, Disney Plus is out there right now telling me that giving me warnings that this like movie has fart jokes. Meanwhile, my 10-year-old self is sitting there watching television like in the evening, watching stuff like this. Like, what? English television does not like, I don't know what it's like now, but back in the day, they weren't afraid to show stuff, and damn, it worked. Like, I didn't think that was the one thing that ever put me off wanting to drive. I just didn't want to do it because I was like terrified in general. I still am not a fan of driving, but you know, it's also scary. I should say that it's scarier to drive in England because we have roundabouts. Okay, America is scary. You guys are just learning roundabouts, so it makes it scarier, and nobody actually knows how they work. But imagine this. Okay, so you're sitting in a long ass line of cars. You've been there. It's gridlock. Like, okay, English traffic. People are leaving work. You're stuck there. You've been like inching forward towards this roundabout for like 20 minutes. You're in a stick shift. So if you make an error, you stall, and you just end up dead in the middle of this roundabout. And there's like this giant ass truck coming your way. Like, roundabouts in England, there's like 2 lanes, and straight up, you just sit there and wait for a space, hit the gas, and go. But if you're in a stick shift, you mess up. You're just kind of like stuck in the middle, and it's scary. And you know, these cars are like coming at you. They're like going like maybe 15-20 miles an hour, and you're just expected to know when to insert yourself, and you're like watching it going, there's no way this works, okay, somehow this is working. I don't know how roundabouts are so successful in England, because they're terrifying, and I've seen people drive, but somehow they work. I could not see them working in Florida specifically, because I'm not even kidding, I'll be driving down a road and pretty much get into almost 3 accidents from people pulling out directly in front of me when there's literally no cars behind me. Like, please explain like, why you cannot just wait 2 seconds for me to drive past. We don't almost both die, and you can just literally pull out behind me. Please tell me why you have to almost kill ourselves. I need fresh pants. You need fresh pants. This wasn't necessary. Please just wait. I actually bought a dash cam. If you're driving in America, in Florida, buy a dash cam. I've had like 3 accidents, and none of them have been my fault. Like, the first one, I'm just like cruising to Walmart, and this lady's at this light, and she's like, yo, I'm gonna do a U-turn real quick. And like, I tear off the front of her car. She was fine. I was fine. You know, truck, not so fine. Her car written off. So she was actually like, her family came down, and obviously they were scared for her. And then there's me, and they didn't even ask. They were so scared about the dog in the back of this woman's car. Like, they were more concerned if the dog was okay. I'm like, hello. she just straight. But thankfully she like owned up to it, and there were witnesses anyway. Also, fun story of that too, is it was raining, and I was coming home from work. Okay, it was dark. It had been raining, and again, a crack of Floridians, y'all can't drive when it's raining. Admit it. Just, you can't do it. In England, we're used to it, but here you struggle. I get it. It's hard. You're doing 60. You hit the brakes. You don't realize it's going to take you 8 times as longer to stop. But anyway, okay, so I'm in this wreck. Okay, I'm standing at the side of the road, and my phone is dead. So my brother is coming down the other way, and he's going past, and obviously, you know, we're at the point where it's just kind of like the cops are just asking us questions, everybody's fine, is cruising past, and my brother doesn't realize it's me, and he straight says when he's going by, he's like, wow, why can't people drive when it's been raining? It's literally only been raining for like 10 minutes. I just find out later when I get home, it's like, yeah, that was me, and he's like, oh. Thanks. So anyway, the way I ended up getting home, okay, so the wheel on my truck was like the thing had bent in on my wheel, so I couldn't turn the wheel. So like there was no driving this home. This truck was like driving to the right and I couldn't steer it. But, you know, it's just the front corner that was meant in. And the cop who was like at the scene was telling me to just drive home. Like, he's like, straight up, just get in the car, you're fine, just drive home, you live like 10 minutes away. I'm like, Gary, I can't turn the wheel. And he's like, no, you'll be fine, just drive home. Like, Gary, this car is driving to the right, I can't drive this thing home, could you maybe give me a lift? And Gary's like, nah, just it's fine. And then like he gets in, he's like, oh, you're right, this doesn't turn. Is there anyone you can call for help? I'm like, Gary, my phone is dead. So then the tow company shows up, and I didn't know who my insurance or anything was at the time, so it's just literally this random tow guy. I'm so going off on a tangent, but this is just a fun story. So this is tow guy, he's smoking in his cab, and you know, he looks sketch, okay? Like, he looks super sketch, and I'm like, okay, so a little bit about me is I look younger than I am, and when this was happening, I was probably like 23 or something. So the tow guy shows up. He's looking sketch. He smells like cigarettes. Not that that's a problem, but it's like a red flag, okay? He's probably been drinking. He's that kind of tow truck guy. And this cop just looks at me and he's like, so yeah, just have him take you home. I'm like, excuse me, Gary, are you okay? The way I ended up getting home is there was this random dude who stopped the side of the road to help us out when all this happened, and he had like this really nice truck. So I'm standing there, side of the road, having just been in an accident, kind of shaky, and I'm standing there going, who do I want to potentially kill me today? Okay, so the other guy was like kind of from a reputable company in our area. So I'm like, do I want to die from like Shady Man in his tow truck? Or do I want to die by this employee in his fancy-ass truck? Like, how do I want to potentially go out tonight? Like, let me pick. So I pick the guy with the fancy truck, and he thankfully just, you know, drives my ass home. I actually had him drop me off at my brother's house, who literally lived like 3 doors down at the time, but you know, this is safety first. As I get into this man's car that I don't even know, my brother literally drove by. Oh my god, it was a time. Also, just like pause, this is editing tales. I just wanted to add too that while all this was happening, a helicopter flew over the scene, you know, shining a light down on us, and then it realized that nobody was dead and we weren't interesting enough, so it just like buggered off again, like along with the fire truck. I actually kind of had the accident like right in front of the firehouse too, so you know, if I was gonna spontaneously combust in my truck, I picked the right place to do it. I thought that was kind of funny. They're just like, they were there for like 2 minutes, like, oh, well, this is, there's nothing to see here, boys. Okay, back to the video. And I think I've only had one since then. I got a dash cam after that. P.S. The other guy was, we were sitting at a light, like a group of cars. This other guy doesn't realize we're stopped, plows into a car. Like, it's a 3-lane car thing, okay? 3 lanes of cars. He's coming down the middle lane, and I'm in, like, the left lane, like, maybe 2 cars ahead from the back of the line. So this dude comes plowing down the middle, hits the guy, like, in the back, obviously, and then he rolls forward and hits the guy, and then the guy who didn't stop, his car is still obviously moving forward from momentum, and there's 2 sides that it can go. It can go to the right or the left, and no, it goes to the left, and I just turn and I look slowly. I'm like, are you f***ing serious right now? As this car comes like scraping along the side of my truck, I'm like, bro. He hit a Jeep though, so you know his stuff was messed up. But it's just like, come on, people. Come on, please. I just want to get home. That is my one goal. Can we please not and say we did? Where was I going with this video? I've gone on a tangent now. Alright, okay, so now that I've talked about that, I've really lost the flow of this video, but it's a story I wanted to tell, so, you're welcome. Weird TV shows in England. Yeah, we've consumed some interesting media over the years, for sure. Good media, though. Like, good television compared to some of the crap we get. Times, a lot of it a product of his time, but it's still kind of fun to always go down these trips on memory lane and then go off on a tangent about how I ended up on a roadside with Grandma and her dog, and Gary, the officer, was completely incompetent. There was also, like, this other officer who was just, like, throwing up at the side of the road for whatever reason. Like, it's just, oh my god, it wasn't night. Okay, in the video. Hope you guys enjoyed. Like, comment, subscribe if you're still here. Thanks for watching. See you on the next one. Go boy.
Hey, Mr. Mystery, tell me your intention.